Welcome to Input and Output, peripheral devices that attach to your computer. Alright, I opened up with a refrigerator that can be an input and output device. You didn't expect that one. But really what an input device will start off with is any data that gives instructions and can enter into the memory of a computer. So devices could be like a keyboard, a digital camera, yes, even a refrigerator, and even your trash can. Your keyboard is the most obvious input device, and even on your screen now you have visual text that you can input information. Some phones have raised keyboards. I'm like a mechanical keyboard myself. The pointing device that you have on your computer that you move around in Word, it has little arrows. Those are examples of also an input device. Anything you can move across the screen, the surface of a desktop to activate or imitate a mouse. And one of the most widely used input device is a mouse. Used to have a ball underneath, but now it has a laser or a infrared light. You can also have a trackball, which is the middle item, which allows you to turn the whole mouse upside down. You don't have to move it across your desk, and you can roll it around to make input. We've made the biggest inroads with touch screens. Either your phone, or now Microsoft Surface has a table, or even the new Windows Surface. Okay, these are all things that were coming, but they're also input devices. It's anything that you can use your fingers or a pen to make the computer do something. Pen input or digital pen, it's basically using a tool on a flat surface to write or draw. In the digital arts, we use it a lot. We're also using it now on some of your phones and some of your tablets. A digital camera or mobile camera is also an input device. In the image here, you can see here how the process happens from analog to digital. So the picture starts out analog, and then through a process of converters, it converts to digital and then finally stored on your computer. Digital cameras as well have two aspects that increase the quality and the price. One is resolution, and the other one is the number of bits each can store. The resolutions are the number of horizontal and vertical pictures in a display resolution. The more numbers, the more pixels, the smallest element in an electronic display, the more elements or pixels you can put in, increases the resolution, making a better quality picture, but also increasing the price. Each pixel consists of one or more data bits. Okay, so the more that it can be stored, the more colors you can have, the more shades of gray can be represented. So those are two things that affect the quality of a digital camera as an input device. Voice input, voice recognition, where you basically speak in the computer and it converts it to text. Music production allows you to edit and mix music. And video conferencing is all types of a video and voice input. As you see here, this is a video conferencing room where there's input and output. And you can see they have televisions across and shaped in a way that more than two people separated geographically can have a conference. And if the line's fast enough, you can't tell a difference. You can hear them, you can see them, and it's saving a lot of money by not sending people on airplanes and traveling to conferences. OCR, or optical character recognition, involves basically special characters that you see on the screen. And then basically you can use those as a turnaround document, so it'll scan it. So like your PG&E bill and stuff like that, and your phone bills if you still are not doing it electronically. But you see the alphabet there, that the O's and the zeros are very unique, and the G's, so that they don't get confused when they're scanned with other letters. OMR is something college students are used to. Basically your Scantron. Basically they read a mark in a location on we call it a Scantron, but it could be any version of OMR. Barcode or bar scanners basically use a device to input off of numbers and lines, and it inputs into, like, for stock or for warehouse and manufacturing. We have talked in great length about RFID in our networking lecture, Basically, it's used for inventory, location of soldiers, employees' wardrobes, airlines, library books, and now if you watch the video, we're going to learn about the medical uses. Biometrics is a newer area to the input of technology. It's basically using human body characteristics such as, maybe DNA, iris, voice patterns for security purposes and access. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about output. We're looking at some pictures here for everything from a webcam to a monitor to a printer. This is the areas we're going to dive into next. An output device is any type of hardware component that conveys information to one or more people. So you have a lot of choices here as we go on in this chapter. Now, the first area of output we're going to talk about is display devices. I have a cell phone here, but it could be a monitor. It could be a lot of things. Anything that presents information in a visual or tactile form. Okay, usually the signal is supplied by electrical signal, and it's basically called an electronic display. When you're out shopping for digital displays or display devices, what you need to look for is the resolution, the response, the brightness, the dot pitch, and the contrast ratio. All these things, the resolution we talked about earlier, the response, the dot pitch, and the contrasting ratio are all things that are going to make a monitor better. First display device we'll talk about in detail is your plasma screen. And basically it's a gas plasma, which basically has two sheets of glass with a mixture of gases in there, and it produces some imagery basically. We call it a plasma TV. They usually come in large sizes, usually 40 inches or greater. The only drawback that I know of is that they use more electricity, and they can be energy hogs if you don't watch it because they heat up. Liquid crystal, or LCDs, is the next type of monitor display device we're going to talk about. You're going to have a video right after that breaks down and shows you how they create the picture that they do. LEDs, or light emitting diodes, are newer on the market. They can go, you can notice if your screen goes all the way to the edge, that you don't have a big border around it. That's a characteristics of the LED. They're narrow, but we're going to also see a video right after this which will talk about LEDs in detail. Your printer, as we switch gears from our displays into printers, are also output devices. They actually produce text and graphics onto what we call a hard copy or a printout. They can print it out in both landscape and portrait orientations onto a piece of paper. There are printers that are non-impact printers. Basically, they don't strike the paper. So you look at your lasers, your photo, your inkjets, your plotters, all either spray or drop toner or ink spray onto a piece of paper, but they do not impact it with force. It actually drops it, and that's why we call it a non-impact printer. Inkjet printers form characters and graphics by spraying tiny drops of liquid onto the piece of paper. If you look at the images on your screen, you see how it's kind of dropped on there. And they use that liquid. And in the video, you're going to see how they process this liquid and create it, and what chemicals they put in it so that it adheres to the paper. Dots per inch, or DPI, is it's a measurement of a printer resolution. So basically, if you look at the graphics down there, the more dots that you can put within an inch, the better the clarity, or the better the resolution. The higher the DPI, the sharper the image. Therefore, if you look at a 600 DPI printout on a piece of paper, it's 600 dots wide and 600 dots high, which is about 360,000 dots per inch, which will produce very nice graphics. The lower the DPI is, you'll get little jaggies. It's like the third image over from your left. It just doesn't look clear. It's kind of jagged. Laser printers use a toner, and the reason they're so popular is because they're high speed, high quality. They can do black and white or color. But the toner is kind of like a powder substance, and it drops it on a magnetized, using kind of a static electricity onto the toner drum, and it rolls over, it drops it onto the piece of paper, and then it goes through a heater to basically adhere the toner to the paper. You're going to see a video on the whole process of how laser works next. Another grouping of printers is an impact. That's something that's going to make a physical force on the paper. The only reason we are using them lately is because for triplicates. So if you have a carbon form or something you have to make duplicates of, you use an impact printer. These type of printers are dying out. What you can do is you can even Office Max buy paper that is sorted 4 colors and then 4 more colors and 4 more colors, so that when you print on a laser printer, you just hit 4 copies and it automatically comes out in different colors. But there are some big businesses that are still using dot matrix and line printers. The last form of output we're going to be talking about is audio output. You have headphones, which are basically speakers that are placed close to your head. When you guys were little, when I was young, we had the big headphones like it's all the rage now. There's the earbuds that fit directly into your ear. That's an output. And then you have voice output, okay? It occurs when you hear a person's voice or when the computer talks to you through the speakers. Some websites also are dedicating themselves to providing voice output. All this stuff works together to produce an output through sound.